Okay guys, so for today's video we're just going to be focusing on kicks. So we're just going to look at kicks off the back leg. So we're going to focus on the two most common kicks that you generally learn in kicking martial arts, which is the front kick and the round kick, roundhouse kick. Okay, so we're just going to be again similar to the striking, the punching video I did before. So we're just looking at basic, really little things you want to be working on, and hopefully for beginners this will help you have a better understanding of how the kicks work. So we're going to look at the front kick first. So again, if I've got a bag, or again obviously you can use your partners to use pads and things like that, I'm going to be in my guard position, okay? Like we previously established in the other videos. Okay, so I'm going to kick with my back leg. So I want to think about keeping my hands up nice and high. So again, a common thing that happens when people do a front kick is when they go to perform the kick, they drop their hands because they feel like they can get more power into it. That might be true, but obviously if I drop my hand, I'm likely to get punched. Okay, so I want to try and keep my hands up all the time. So I'm keeping my hands up, I'm looking through my hands, got my eyes on the target, I'm going to lift that back knee up nice and high, with the ball of my foot, and then I bring it back to where I started. Okay, so I'm lifting my knee up. As I lift my knee, I want to think about contracting my leg in as much as I can, and keep my heel nice and tight to my bottom. So I don't want to lift my leg out and have my knee or my foot kind of dangling in front of my knee position. I want to kind of keep this as tight as I can. So the more I contract it, the more my body naturally wants to try and expand. That adds a little bit more power to the kick. So I'm keeping my hands up, looking through my hands, I kick, and then I return back to my position. I want to think about lifting my knee nice and high, so I'm bringing my knee to my chest, the ball of my foot. So my foot should be that shape when I make contact. So I'm hitting with the ball of my foot as I make contact, so it's that shape. And as I kick, I want to think about trying to extend through my hips. I don't want to just be using my leg. I want to think about extending through my hips, and then I come back. So it's very important I kick and return back to my stance, because I'm able to follow up with other strikes if necessary. Okay? So that's the front kick. Next one we'll look at is the round kick, the roundhouse kick. So again, I'm still kicking my back leg, and I want to think about my leg coming around the target, So the most important thing I focus on with this kick is my front foot. So at the moment, my toes are facing the bag, and I want to try and turn my foot so my heel faces the bag. Okay? So if I do that facing the camera, so at the moment, my front foot, my toes are facing you, and I'm going to try and turn that foot so my heel points towards that target. Okay? Now there's a couple of different ways I can do this. What I quite like to do for beginners is get them to start on the ball of their foot, because if they're flat-footed, it can be quite tricky to turn your foot with all the friction on the floor if you're starting out. So I like people to start on the ball of their foot, and then what I want to think about is turning my hip over. Yeah, so I don't want to kick and not turn my foot, keep my hip back, and it just looks like a rubbish kick. I want to think about sending my hip as I rotate, and then I come back. So I'm starting on the ball of my foot, I try and turn my foot out, hit with the lower part of my shin, okay? And then again, as I kick, I keep in this case, my lead hand will stay near my head, and I pull my rear hand down. So the more I pull my rear hand down, the more my hip automatically wants to go into the kick. As I kick, I pull this one down, more the kind of traditional kind of Thai way, and it sends my hip greater acceleration, so I get to add a bit more power to the kick. So I'm here, come back. Again, take your time. Again, for beginners, just take your time. Keeping your hands up, turn, come back, come back, and I just take my time. Okay guys, so that's the front kick and the round kick.